You're listening to the Unpenned Show with Paul and Andy, broadcasting live around the world. We believe freedom is free. It is enslavement that you're paying for. If you ain't mad by now, you're not paying attention.
Good evening, guys and girls. It is Tuesday, the 26th of February 2013. Hello, pal.
Good evening, Paul.
Here we go again then. Good news, good news, good news. I have found somebody else on this wicked web of lies and deceit. I have just uncovered, discovered, recovered, found somebody else who actually knows what this web, this net is for.
Oh, good.
It's a never-ending story of fairy tales and dreams for its readers and watchers to enjoy every day. And there is that many different flavours. There's a little something here for everybody. It is. Somebody else gets it. I'm sure there are many other people out there, but you and I, from our little headquarters here in North Yorkshire, Battlefront Galactica, right? We sit here and say, this thing is my bloody enemy.
It certainly is.
And I shall treat it as such. I will be pleasant. I will use it when I have to. I'll try not to offend it greatly, which we fail badly at, quite honestly. We do fail quite a lot on that front, to be honest.
Yep.
And my 2 hours a week that I choose to have sex with it, in fact, act in commerce, I have a shared experience.
Shared experience.
My 2 hours a week that I am forced to have intercourse, I do it on my terms and no other.
Well.
And the rest of the time, bollocks to it. Had a good week?
Sort of.
It is. It's been
a scary week.
The ride is getting faster, and the highs are getting high. Well, the highs are getting lower, and the lows are getting lower.
The lows are getting lower, yeah.
I muck and fuddled that up there,
oh,
didn't
well,
I?
never
I
mind.
made the muck and fuddle up of that.
It shows
now,
we're not inhuman.
As usual, we have a stack of news stories, hardly any of which we're probably going to cover, are we? Because I want to start with the criticism that I always do. Always, always do. Do you think that the highest users of the internet are the rebels with too many causes? Do you actually think, right? I mean, I wasn't around in the 60s, so I can remember it, right? And I didn't get a good view out of the top of the pram, right?
Yeah.
But I know TV was the very tool of the 60s, wasn't it? It was the kaleidoscope of colour. It was the sex, drugs and rock and roll driver of a revolution. It was. It was. And the government did their bit by subsidising TVs.
Oh, yeah.
You could pay for it on the drip, couldn't you?
You certainly could.
That was the first thing the government actually legalised DER. They legalised DER to go door to door, flogging your TVs for 50 pence a week, wasn't it?
Yeah, 50p a week.
And I can remember reading stories of before television, the greens and the village greens and the parks and the fields and the picnic areas were full of families enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
And a year later, after the magician's magic box was given centre stage in your main room, the parks, the fields, the greens, the picnic areas, there was hardly anybody there.
Well, yeah.
Yep. Oh, what a change that magical little box has made. If you look at your granddad, or even if you can go a little bit further back than your granddad, then you can see the standards and things that he would have accepted. Then you move to your dad, then you move to yourself, then you move to your son, and if you're old enough, you've got a grandson. What a big change in one lifetime that is. Because we're sat right in the middle, aren't we? We're sat in the middle of, my granddad's gone, my dad's gone, but not too, I can still remember what they were.
Yes.
Okay, and then behind me I've got two generations now. So you can see the changes, and they're dramatic and they're fast, aren't they, really?
They are. Very fast.
Have they always been that way? Well, the answer's no, of course not.
They weren't, no.
Of course not. Before we were on television, we had a much smaller world, but a much safer world because of it. And, we were limited to how far we could travel in a day.
Yeah.
At one point, that was as far as you could ever go. That was as big as your world ever got.
It certainly was, yeah.
A day there and back. Whether you were walking, riding, or lucky enough to get on the train of the times. I can't remember how I started. I do just wander off into nowhere land, don't we? But isn't where we are now? Isn't where we are now? Is it a rerun of the 60s? Is it a rerun of the 60s? Because although I wasn't there, I think it is.
I think it is just a little bit, well, a digital version of it, shall we say?
Well, it's more sophisticated.
Yeah.
And we don't have to get out and get wet and
More
cold.
contracted.
We don't have to get...
No.
It's been contracted,
been
made
contracted,
smaller, yeah.
yeah.
Correct. But we don't have to get out and get wet now, do we?
No.
And we don't have to stand the cold.
No.
Right, we still think shouting at the criminals at their house of work is going to make a difference. I don't know what the hell gives us that idea. They bloody know they're criminals.
I'm
And I
past
think
that
they
one.
say, thanks, guys, for turning up. Thanks for bothering to come all this way and tell us that you know we're criminals. We know we're criminals. Okay? We already know we are. We've just given you the opportunity for a test. It's almost a pro test to see how many of you can be asked. And I remember November the 5th last year. Anonymous, whoever he may be. And we must leave it at that. Because I don't know who Anonymous is, and I don't think anybody else is. Nobody else can say who they know, because it's by its very nature. It wears masks and never reveals its identity, so it cannot be trusted.
No.
It cannot be trusted, really. It must be just taken with a, like, yeah, there's another one. November the 5th last year, do you remember?
I do, yes.
We were associated with a radio station, weren't we?
Yes.
And that radio station was promoting the anonymous message to get down to London and make a difference on November the 5th. Do you remember that?
I do.
Do you remember? And you and I, we looked on the calendar, it was a Monday, we made plans, we said, right, we'll drive down from this side, and if some of them want to jump on the train, we'll meet them in Leeds and we'll pick them up.
Yeah.
And us three musketeers, which has now grown to 4, but I'll tell you that later.
Yes.
I've got a 4th. Is it D'Artagnan that was 4th? Anyway, and we were all ready, weren't we? And about a week and a half before, the station stopped.
It did?
They just stopped playing the anonymous November the 5th clip.
Yeah.
And by some magical method, it was never spoken
Sort
about.
of fizzled out.
Again.
It was like a damp fuse.
It wasn't very much of a firework night, was it? I think we can say that firework didn't do what it said on the box, did it? About 9 or 10 days before, it just went
It was definitely a
quiet,
dud firework. Yeah.
Quiet. And nobody spoke about it on
no,
the station.
Don't speak about it, no.
It was just like...
The 3 monkeys had appeared. No evil, speak no evil.
Now, what did happen? What did happen on November the 5th?
We all had a bonfire like we normally do.
This has got to be, right, the laziest revolution in history, don't you think?
Yeah.
Because I know people really think that what we're doing right now is going to change something. First of all, I don't think we've got a right to change anything except ourselves.
Well, we've got to start with that.
That's the only right you have. To try and change something else is to... You have to ask first.
You do.
Is it okay if I change your opinions, your views, your outlook on life, and how you feel about the future? Is that all right? Can I do that for you? And I think most people will say, no thanks, no. But we don't ask, do we?
No.
We don't ask, we just plough right on it and say, we know something you don't know and you best sit down and listen. Right? That really hasn't worked very well over the years, has it?
No.
We haven't done very well there, to be honest. So now what do? We do our couple of hours a week, don't we? And I broadcast to my audience because I've got a fish and chip shop. I attack every customer that comes in. Most of them think it's comedy. I have to laugh my way through it, otherwise I'd have no bloody customers. That's life, isn't it?
It is,
That's
unfortunately.
life. And this...
A dream world.
That's where we're going to, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's some films that I've been watching. I used to say the television was a bad thing. Now I think it's bloody marvellous because I try and decode it. The films are fantastic. I've been given a film collection by somebody who I know very well. I'm now picking off the films and thinking, these are brilliant. The amount of messages that are loaded into there that I would never have decoded before, but now smile at their brilliance. Really smile at their brilliance. Last night's Black Mirror, we don't have much to say about that, really. It was... Possibly, they should have shown that one first. I thought it was the weakest one.
There was the weakest
one, there was a few messages in there. I remember that at the beginning of the programme she was applying to stand as an MP, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And right at the end of the interview she said there's a few murders between 1999 and 2002 to take into account.
Yeah.
And she still got the job. Right at the end of the programme, the Waldo's inventor got beat up by the stormtroopers. No judge, no jury, just beat him up, tased him and beat him up, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Right in the middle, he got Waldo stolen off him because he'd used another platform to create Waldo.
Yeah.
So Waldo didn't actually belong to him. which is exactly what the internet is, by the way. If you create anything on here, the platform that you have used to create it with
is not yours.
It belongs to that platform.
Yes.
They take control of it. So if you create something of value on this internet, it's not yours. It is not yours. I think you're going to find the headlines in all the alternative press tomorrow. Obama's made another statement that you don't do things on your own. That's not the American way. You know, you don't build it, we build it, we help you build it. You wouldn't build it without us. That sort of lefty, liberal, nasty way of thinking. And I've said that before, that, you know, I get the feeling that the council impersonators, the fancy-dressed licorice all sort of coloured idiots that come in here, they look at me and say, quietly under their breath, you wouldn't have this shop if it wasn't for us. We built the infrastructure. We collect your rubbish. We make the rules to keep you safe. And we gave you the licence to be able to do all this.
To operate, yeah.
That's right. So you should be very grateful to us. But this is how psychopaths work, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's a maker versus a taker. But the taker has to make out that he's the maker.
He's the maker,
and all
yeah.
he is a maker of rules for you to follow while he's taking and emptying your bank account.
Yes.
That's how this works. And that's how the liberals and the lefties who pretend they're saving the planet when they're actually going to... They're determined to bankrupt you and your business and your children and ruin your future and control every aspect of it. These people aren't liberals at all. They're just masquerading as your friends. They probably can't even tie the shoelaces.
No.
God knows what they get up to at weekends. Let's try and find let's get a new story. Let's do one. Let's do one just to say we've actually done one. Yeah, let's see if we can do one new story.
Well, shall we go with Mail Online? Plight of savers could get even worse as Bank of England considers here's the word, negative
interest rates.
Negative interest rates.
This is genius, isn't it?
It's not zero interest rates.
No, this
use
is
the word
genius.
negative.
This is genius, isn't it? Because the word genius just means gene in us, by the way. But genius because now you're going to have to. You're going to pay to put your money in the banks.
Yep.
And keep it safe. From who? Who are they going to keep it safe from? They're the bloody thieves. They're the bloody thieves. But let's look at where we are right now, because the UK has lost its AAA rating.
It has,
which means you only get one flake now instead of two. Right? But we've lost our we've lost, I mean, the fucking debt's not mine. Anyway, we've lost our rating, so that means that the markets are now getting more nervous and they're going to gang up on the UK unless it stays friends with the euro. That's one point of view. Yeah. The second point of view is that the UK and the US are going down together because they're the enemies of the civilised world. That's another point of view. Let's go with point of view number 3. Max Kaiser's point of view.
Oh, yeah.
We're fucked. Middle of April the 15th, we're going the way of Greece. Which means that the bankers are going to implode our economy, especially on purpose.
Yep.
Right? The quantitative easing, which is nothing more than writing the number 25 billion on a piece of rough paper, then you place the waste paper bin in the corner of the room, right? You now screw up the 25 billion pounds piece of paper, you throw it in the bin, and if you get it in, you have won the jackpot, because now the government that is under you, serving your needs because you've corrupted them, you've compromised them, and they are nothing but your minister of puppets, or as they were called, the Muppet Show, right? They now owe you 20, 30 million pounds a month more in interest. And if you want a pay rise, you just ruin the economy a bit further, write yourself another 25 billion pound imaginary note, chuck it in the waste paper bin in the corner, right, and then get another 30 million a month.
Yeah.
It's the bloody Twilight Zone, isn't it?
It is, really.
It is the Twilight Zone. And I look into people's eyes, and they look into mine, and they think, he's just this daft little prat with a chip. And they're right, you know. They're absolutely right. I am this daft little prat with a chip shop.
Yeah, yeah.
And I look at them. They're daft prats with suits and ties and BMWs, right? And they're living a bloody lie.
They are.
Right? It's called a dream, which is just a long, nice word for a lie. Right, because they're living in a bloody they've got a small family and a bloody big house, right?
Yeah.
They've got black cars, right, that are all on rent.
Yeah.
Right, they've got 2 holidays a year, golf club membership.
Yeah.
Pensions to die for, because they're going to have to die before they get it. Right, okay?
Yeah.
And they've got designer fucking everything, because we all get branded from birth. So if you're going to be branded, they want to be branded in the top field.
In the top field, yeah.
Right? They don't realise that we are actually the cows and the sheep. And what cows and sheep do is they eat grass and perform a magic. And what's the magic? They turn it into
milk and
beef.
They turn
in milk and bloody meat, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're going to grass somebody up, you're grassing a grass eater. Right, we are the grass eaters. That we turn grass into meat and milk, and they, the dairy farmers at the top, right, they skim it all off.
They do.
Bastards. We don't understand. People don't get this, do they?
No, I don't think so.
They don't. We think freedom is whatever colour car you want, whatever hotel you want, which tin of beans you want. I think it's just one bean factory, by the way, don't you?
There is, yeah.
It's just how much aspartame do you want? How do you want in these beans? If you want them to taste sweeter, we'll put more aspartame in, which is now all over the press that it causes bloody diabetes. But it won't matter.
No.
We're way past understanding all that. Horse meat, no problem. Right, all I get in the shop here is we might as well have fish because that won't have any horse meat in it. I mean, if someone says that again, I'm going to hit them around the face with something. But they're not bothered.
No.
Most people's reaction is, well, it's never mind worrying about the horse meat. It's what else is in there. Nail lad. I'll have a cheeseburger while you're... They're not bloody bothered.
No, they're not, no.
I mean, this is almost like the school bully punching you round the face every playground. Right, and he says, after school I'm going to come and I'm going to empty your pockets, tip you upside down, and drop you in the puddle. And you say to everybody, he's going to tip you, punch me in the puddle. Are you going to help me? Yes, we'll help you. And then when the time comes, you go one way and the rest go the bloody other.
Yeah,
because we are a nation. We're a nation of cowards, aren't we?
Yeah.
We are a nation of cowards, and they know it. And they bloody well know it. So they've given us a counterfeit version of reality. Yeah. That we can fight a counterfeit reality. Right, we think we're actually fighting by pressing these buttons.
Yeah.
We can't even form a coalition, a group that agrees to do anything.
No.
Why not? It's the rebels with too many causes, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
you've
if
got
you just
too
say,
many causes,
Matt, this is the group I want to create. It goes to council meetings, right? It challenges council decisions. It hands out DVDs to councillors and to school kids. It makes friends with police and hands out DVDs to them. All right? And really that's all it sort of does. It just goes to council meetings, DVDs to people who might be interested, and tries to stay the right side of the law. Making friends with everybody. Now, does anybody want to be in that group? I don't think anybody would bother.
No.
Do you? I don't think that would be very exciting, because you'd have to get out of bed. You'd have to actually get out, put your coat on, and bloody do something.
You would.
Now, this is much more. This is brilliant. Because how far do you have to get? So far.
So far, yeah.
Just so far. So far, so bloody good. It's not bloody funny, though, is it?
No.
No, it isn't. I wish we'd stop bloody laughing and joking. It's not funny.
Judge a man by his questions rather than his answers. Voltaire.
The point completely. Not important to get children to read. Children who want to read are going to read. Kids who want to learn to read are going to learn to read. Much more important to teach children to question what they read. Children should be taught to question everything. To question everything they read, everything they hear. Children should be taught to question authority. Parents never teach their children to question authority because parents are authority figures themselves and they don't want to undermine their own bullshit inside the household. Kids have to be warned that there's bullshit coming down the road. That's the biggest thing you can do for a kid. Tell them what life in this country is about. It's about a whole lot of bullshit that needs to be detected and avoided.
When you are aware, you can prepare. Our societal structure is broken. The Industrial Revolution took the father out of the house. The Consumer Revolution took the mother out of the house. It now takes 2 or 3 incomes to support a family now. Who is left to shape the minds of our children? Who benefits from this? Cui bono? Our society is mass-producing pathological narcissism on a massive scale. Fascination with fame and celebrity, fear of competition, the inability to suspend belief, shallowness and transitory quality of personal relationships. Who benefits from this? Collective power does. We know deep down that we are not getting ahead. We are presented with saviors who never change the system or solve the problems. Our future is not certain. My generation will be the first American generation to not live as well as the previous generation. This, unfortunately, has been designed to happen this way. We have been programmed all of our lives to shut out personal choices and conform with society. This could come in the form of a parent's authority, school's rules, social pressure, or the government laws and regulations. By the time we are adults, we have a self-regulating prison of our mind. We recognize the symptoms: self-doubt, low self-esteem, lack of motivation, and lack of original ideas. We think we know the cause of these problems: parents, education system, the media, the boss, etc. But in reality, they are just victims of the same dynamic.
I'm going, bro!
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know, you'll probably be about as good as I was. That's kind of the way it works, and I was below average, so you'll probably ultimately rank somewhere around there, so you'll excel at a lot of things, just not this. I don't want you out here shooting this ball around all day and night, all right?
All right.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Society wants weak, dependent people because it gives power to those who run this world. If people were truly free and independent, they would have no need for any of the elite or collective thought. But the typical American is programmed through society to obey authority, follow the rules, and don't ask questions. We are to conform. We are programmed to go into debt with credit cards, student loans, mortgage, or car payments. The lower class is programmed to either depend on the government or work for the government. They eat fast foods to make them obese and diabetic. They see the military as a way out. Girls are programmed to get pregnant early. Politics is seen as a waste of time, and their lives are filled with distractions. The middle class is programmed to prepare for corporate jobs, to get into debt to have that American dream, programmed to see objects as status and debt as a means to get that status. They excel at regurgitating information for academic achievement and talking points for financial or political intelligence. Corporate life breaks up the local support systems people have, driving a wedge between them and their roots. The system is perfectly designed for us to be just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork, but not smart enough to ask if this is really the best system for us.
Look around, look around. I see a lot of new faces. Shut up! Which means a lot of you have been breaking the first 2 rules of Fight Club. Man, I see in Fight Club the strongest and smartest men who've ever lived. I see all this potential, and I see it squandered. God damn it, an entire generation pumping gas, waiting tables, slaves with white collars. Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate so we can buy shit we don't need. We're the middle children of history, man. No purpose or place. We have no great war, no great depression. Our great war is a spiritual war. Our great depression is our lives. We've all been raised on television to believe that one day we'd all be millionaires and movie gods and rock stars, but we won't. We're slowly learning that fact. And we're very, very pissed off.
Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? Brad Pitt speaking the truth. Loud and clear. And I don't know what is the matter with people's hearing. I don't understand what's happened to people's hearing. They hear, but they don't hear. They see, but they don't see. Now, I live on my own and actually have I've plagued my staff so much that to a point they're sort of dozing, as it were. But you actually go out into the big wide world.
I do, yeah.
And you meet, you meet people face to face, and you actually have to speak about the things they're interested in. No more so than the time you spend at home. And you find that difficult.
I do, yeah.
But I'm not being nasty to those at home. They're just a representative of what else is around.
I'm pleased to do it because it just confirms to me what a dream world it is.
But it is a dream world, isn't it? I mean, I've played clips before about the retiring member of the CIA in the late 80s I can't do it word for word, but it goes something along the line of when all the American people see and believe is false, our work will be complete. And that's how it makes sense to be. The language is built on a true lie wrapped in a fairy tale. That's what we're living. And all those fairy tales are woven into the language, the customs, the culture, the bedrooms, the fit-ins, the cars. It's all woven into that in a way that our subconscious fully is comfortable with. But our conscious minds, which are nothing, they are not conscious. We're only using our random access memory, which is so little now that we can't remember what we did this morning. We can't remember what we had for breakfast, and that sort of thing. Because our random access memory is been transferred to our phones and our computers.
Yeah.
Memory sticks for adults is the next thing. Because that's what your mobile phone is. It's a memory stick for an adult. I know lots of people talk about microchipping. Actually microchipping the people. Will they, won't they? Well, we have no idea. But I would say they've sort of really done it.
I would say they've done it, yeah.
It's in your right hand, isn't it?
It is. Everybody's got one in their pocket, in their handbag.
Yeah, and then it's in your telly.
Yeah.
And it's in your computer, and it's in your passport, and it's in your driving licence. And some companies claim that they're putting it in the collars of the shirts. IBM claim they're putting it in food to track it. I don't know if this is true. But what else are we expecting? We've got facial recognition, we've got biometric scanners, we've got Russia going fully biometric in 2015, or starting the biometric card in 2015.
Yeah.
Well, we know all this is a global programme, so we're going to get it eventually. But I think we're going to be, I'm looking at it's not for us, we're the dinosaurs, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're the dinosaurs, and like all dinosaurs, they always die out, don't they? No one quite knows why they die out, but we know why they die out. Because the culture has been changed, so they become old-fashioned, disconnected, irrelevant, and their points of view are so far away from the up-and-coming generation, who, like every generation before them, believe the world is theirs now. I mean, every generation thinks they're smarter than the one that's just gone.
Yeah.
Well, why? Because they always blame the one before as well.
Yeah.
But isn't it the truth that we're becoming lazier? Have we had this conversation? And have we both agreed, put our hands up and said...
I've put my hand up and said, yes, I am lazier than that.
I compare myself to my mum's work ethic.
Yep.
The stress and pressure she could cope with. And I would love to tell you that I am equal to and better. It's a lie.
It is a lie.
It's a lie, I'm not.
We both sat down at the table, didn't we?
Yep.
And we went through what your mum did and what my... Well, I was brought by my grandparents, so towards the latter end of my life, of my teenage years. And we went through, they had a structure, they had my granddad had a twin tub, she didn't even have an automatic washing machine.
But they didn't rely on anybody else.
No, they didn't. She did all the shopping, the cleaning, the ironing, and she had a part-time job as well. And
but they also had the inflation hadn't really ruined their lives by then.
No, it hadn't.
But what I'm trying to say is that they were independent.
They were
independent people. We're not independent at all.
No.
Everything that we need is piped into our cages.
Yeah.
And if it's not piped into our cages, it's delivered to our cages. Only if you can be bothered now do you actually have to step outside. You can actually get everything delivered to your front door and never have to step over the doorstep.
That's it, with a click of a button.
And that's the idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is the idea.
Yeah.
It's not that they don't want you to come out of your house, it's that they want you to get used to not having a car. Because we're not going to be able to afford cars.
No.
And if you can afford cars, you won't be able to put the fuel in them.
Next.
And how do I know? Because that's where we're getting to, isn't it?
That's where we're getting to that now,
That's where we're getting to. I mean, I have some well-dressed people coming in my shop and I say, how are you doing? Are we noticing the gas and the electric bill is starting to rise considerably? And they look on their face and they say, yes, they are. And I said, are they affecting the way that you're now financially running your lives? And they say, yes, they are. And I said, do you think it's going to stop or keep going? And they say, keep going. And I said, but are you aware the gas wholesale price is just about what it was 10 years ago?
Yeah.
No. And then somehow they think I'm trying to make them look small and silly, and they change
the subject.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? What is it? What is this cognitive dissonance that allows us to be raped? But not complain?
Yeah.
I mean, have we watched so many films that we really think it's going to be okay in the end? Well, the answer appears to be yes. Because in every single film, what happens is the hero comes at the last minute, just when you think all is lost. The hero comes in to save the day. Just like all religions.
Yes.
Right? Just like all religions. It's got to get really bad and then worse than that. And then the hero will come back and save you.
Yep.
Show me when that's happened, except in Hollywood films.
I know. Well,
show me.
People are on about, we can go and compare and all this. And how many people have you spoke to? And they've changed suppliers. And then next minute they say, I changed suppliers. And what do you know? My bill's gone up.
Yep.
It keeps going up, keeps going up. So this illusion of competition. There's no competition.
There's no.
And I just said to my son tonight,
as we're surely cutting down, closing the coal-fired power stations.
That's
right?
coming, yeah.
We're having this farce of shall we build nuclear? Well, we're not building them because they're too expensive. Well, EDF will build them. Well, we're not building them because they're too expensive.
Yeah.
Right? It's all a bloody farce. I pulled out a news story there. What's it say? The next time the lights go off, you won't be in charge of something.
Yeah.
What's it say?
It says,
I don't know.
One day turning off the lights won't be up to you.
Yeah, but this is artificial scarcity. They started this about 4 or 5 years ago, by the way.
They did, yeah, when they started sticking the wind turbines up.
The windmills.
The windmills,
The windmills that don't work.
Totally.
Right, the windmills where millions of pounds go to imaginary companies and never get built.
Yeah.
And if they do get built, they don't bloody work. And if the wind blows, they break them.
And I voted Tony Blair, and I remember at the time he was saying, we're going to stick VAT onto your fuel and gas and electric bills to pay for new energy, because this new energy thing... And what they're telling us now is... This new energy, it won't generate enough power for us all. Let's have a look at some of the highlights in that article, and let's see if we can pick out some of the things that it actually says, because it basically is saying that we're going to have to turn the electric off from time to time, and we're doing it for your benefit. They won't actually turn it off a great deal. It'll just be to frighten us into death, because the next step will be that the infrastructure cannot cope with the increased loads. We're going to have to increase the infrastructure spend, which means your prices are now going up. Going up,
all right. And they've done that a number of times now, because they started off with the look, we can't help it, there's too many people, why don't you buy energy-saving bulbs, lag your loft, right, switch everything onto off standby, and you'll save a fortune. Then 3 months later, they jack the prices up 12%.
Yes.
Right then, I mean, we've done all this before.
We have.
But this is just a precursor to launching the news stories. These power cuts are happening because the infrastructure is failing, so give us some more money and we'll keep it on for you.
Yeah, there's a little snippet here. It says, going on about increasingly punitive energy-saving devices, but inverted commas, carbon tax, due to come into force on April the 1st.
Oh, right, yeah, carbon tax. Is everyone getting that? I've been paying it for a while, CCL.
Yeah.
I've been paying it for a while. Is everybody getting it? April the 1st, is it?
April the 1st. Everybody's coming,
Grand day to introduce it. Day to introduce it. April the 1st, That's when the bedroom tax and everything's coming in.
It's all coming in, yeah.
They're laughing at us, aren't they?
Fool's Day,
They're laughing at us. We are the ship of bloody fools, aren't we? Bloody global warming. 1,300 paid scientists by us say that global warming is real. Meanwhile, 13,000 independent scientists from around the bloody world say we've got questions.
Well, now, in regard to this problem of the ultimate revolution, this has been very well summed up by the moderator. In the past, we can say that all revolutions have essentially aimed at changing the environment in order to change the individual.
There's going to be absolutely no revolution, is there?
No.
There isn't, because the revolution's already happened, hasn't it?
We're in one.
I was going to say, didn't it start in the 60s?
One.
I mean, I'm listening to Aldous Huxley there, and this is 1960s he's talking.
Yeah.
The late 50s, early 60s. And he's talking about, we've had it.
Yeah.
The 1960s, you've had your bloody chance, haven't we? We've had our chance. And they put us to sleep in the 70s with sex, drugs and rock and roll like they did in the 60s.
Yes.
And bloody feminism. And then they gave us the dream of all dreams. You can have it.
Yeah.
Right? If you want it, you can have it. Credit. Credit. Doesn't it sound fantastic?
It was the 80s.
Credit. If they'd called it debt, we wouldn't have bloody bought it,
no,
would we?
No.
But no, they gave us bloody credit, didn't they? So we went back to sleep and had the time of our lives in the 80s. Hand up, I did.
I did.
I had a bloody great time.
I'm guilty.
Bloody great time. But they weren't kidding when they said buy now, pay later, were they?
No.
They were not kidding.
No, they're not kidding.
We're in
at
the
all.
pay later bit now.
We are in.
Now, the debts
This
that
is
they're
the
asking us
pay-up
to
time.
cover, the debts that they're asking us to cover are not our debts. Right? They're not mine and your debts.
No.
But we did contribute
We
to
did
them by
contribute.
jacking up the house prices.
Yes.
But not in the billions and billions they're talking about. This is corporate theft. This is corporate thievery. But if we go back and listen to some more of Aldous in the 60s, he knew how they were going to do it. He did actually know. So let's play a little bit more.
I mean, there's been the political revolution, the economic revolution, in the time of the Reformation, the religious revolution. All these aimed, as I say, not directly at the human being, but at his surroundings, so that by modifying the surroundings you did achieve, at one remove, an effect upon the human being. Today, we are faced, I think, with the approach of what may be called the ultimate revolution, the final revolution, where, well, it seems to me that the nature of the ultimate revolution with which we are now faced is precisely this, that we are in process of developing a whole series of techniques which will enable the controlling oligarchy, who have always existed and presumably always will exist, to get people actually to love their servitude. This is seems to me the ultimate in malevolent revolution, shall we say? And this is a problem which has interested me for many years, and about which I wrote 30 years ago a fable, The Brave New World, which is essentially the account of a society making use of all the devices at that time available, and some of the devices which I imagined to be possible, making use of them in order to, first of all, to standardize the population, to iron out inconvenient human differences, to create, so to say, mass-produced models of human beings arranged in some kind of a scientific caste system.
When are we going to figure out that that's what they did? Because we know now, don't we?
Yeah.
We've been informed, haven't we? We've been reformed. We've been made to be uniform. Would you agree?
Yes.
We have, and that has been the plan from the 60s onwards. And Mr. Huxley, Aldous, was he a good guy? Was he a bad guy? Well, I don't know, but I know he was nearly blind when he died. You know, he was nearly blind, but yet still he was writing works of the standard that we all are aware of, and giving speeches warning of what the future may bring. Has he been wrong? Well, the answer is no. No, he's been absolutely spot on. I think the revolution started after the Second World War. I think the 50s was a time of stabilisation. And the 60s became really, I mean, they rocked the boat like they've never rocked the boat before. And they've never stopped rocking it, and a lot of people have been thrown overboard and they're drowning. Would you say that? You know, that's really what, you know, the analogy of what we're trying to describe here.
Well,
they were throwing us overboard from the late 60s onwards, and they've been throwing us overboard one by one ever since. But we can't escape. They've been throwing us overboard, but only into this imaginary net.
Yeah.
Now, the way to get out of a net is not to stay in it, or to go round and round it, or to look for a way out within the net. The way to get out of the net is the same bloody way you got in. Get onto the quay, get onto the quay and get onto dry land. See, we get on the quay and board.
Yes.
Right, we need to get onto the quay and, what's the word, disboard or deboard or whatever the word is. I don't know, but we need to get off this net.
I know.
Deep breath. Deep breath.
Well, he was one of the elites, wasn't he, Aldous Huxley?
Well, he mixed with the elites, but the books he wrote can really, I mean, you can't say there weren't warnings.
The Huxleys and the Darwins were...
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean,
were there marital things going on and cousins and stuff going on there?
The United Nations, whatever it is, kill them all bloody while you can. I mean, I realise that.
But-
I mean, the Doctor Who, the World Health Organisation.
Oh, yes.
Doctor Who. Yeah, and the Daleks, terminate, exterminate. I mean, if we don't realise that Doctor Who, the BBC One programme, was basically a rip-off or a wind-up or a piss-take for the elites, for the World Health Organisation.
Of course it was, yeah.
Exterminate. We will send our Daleks out and exterminate you one by one. But that's what they do. And these exterminate... I mean, they've actually got vaccine needles. They've actually got syringes. Like Daleks. Like the bloody Daleks, aren't they?
Yeah. But you mentioned the Second World War, the end of that, but we were speaking earlier that no, there's none. The First World War was like the toe in the water. It was a test, and it was fight against the Kaiser, wasn't it? And it was two brothers, wasn't it? People forget that it was two brothers fighting. There was a German king we had here, and he was a German Kaiser, and they were brothers, and one ran Germany and one ran here, and they weren't happy with that. One wanted more than the other. And anyway, it was a toe in the water to see what would happen. And we fell for it hook, line and sinker like we would do with propaganda. And
the First World War didn't end.
Oh, no.
They just postponed it.
They postponed it, yes.
They delayed it.
They had to delay it.
They delayed it because they had to wait another 20 years, right, so we could grow another generation of soldiers.
Exactly.
So we could get Germany through the Weimar Republic and get them all collectivised and then socialised, and then Germany was ready to go again. All right, because the West had basically bankrupted them by making them sign treaties that were designed to bankrupt them.
America were bankrupt. They were selling, as soon as the country sells war bonds, they're bankrupt.
But that's right, and then in came Mr. Hitler, right, with his socialist agenda.
They engineered him in, didn't they?
He got shifted in. Whose bastard child was he? Well, we'll never probably know, I suppose. And I'm not prepared to go much further than that.
But eugenics is a thing.
Where'd the bloody money come from? Well, it came from where it always comes from.
Yeah.
Because banks, the biggest banks, control and look after kings and monarchs and governments.
Yeah.
And once you get invested with kings and monarchs and governments, right, you've got a say in what those kings and monarchs and governments do. Right, that's part of the deal, is that you have influence and sway and favour.
Yeah.
And that's how this works.
At that level you do.
And where we went with World War II.
Yeah, and at our level...
We were fighting the socialists.
We're the fighting, yeah.
We were I mean, England was told that we're fighting the socialists.
Just as we're doing on the internet
now.
The
National Socialists.
We're fighting on the internet.
After the Second World War, what did we get? We voted for a socialist Prime Minister. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic.
Fantastic.
All right, it just didn't... It's beyond silliness when you look back now, but we've got a lot more communication skills here. We've got a lot more ability to share quickly, but can we actually transcribe it into reality and get people to actually react from what we are saying? Okay, because they say if it's not on TV, it didn't happen. All right, it doesn't matter you saying it. I had someone say to me, "What you gonna do then?" All right, what you
I
gonna
love
do?
that one.
What you gonna do? I said, "Well, I've started by talking to you."
Yeah.
And I've said, "Well, what you gonna do?" I mean, I'm looking for somebody who's gonna fix all this. And what you gonna do? You're gonna fix it all. You're gonna fix it all because I'll watch you fix it.
Turn it back
and
on
I'll
them.
say, I know who you're waiting for. I know who you're waiting for. Tell me, she said, and I said, you. You're waiting for bloody you coward.
Yeah.
She didn't buy the chips.
No,
she didn't buy the chips.
No,
and I know her husband as well. I wonder if she'll come back. I wonder, will she come back? And I suspect not.
No, well...
I suspect not. I mean, I can lose customers on a regular basis. It's no problem at all. Even the word customer is customer for C. But we're not doing language so much tonight. But
no,
it's silly, isn't it? We're now into silliness. This is the silliness moment. I mean, we're thinking windmills are going to fix anything.
Yeah.
They're not.
They're not.
Right?
No.
We're thinking the politicians, the professional liars, the national deceivers, the endless puppetry. Somehow we still think they're going to do something that will be good for us. We all know global warming, or nearly everybody who isn't going to benefit from it knows it's fake. And most of those who are going to benefit from it, the liberals and the lefties and the loonies, they know it's bloody fake.
Yeah.
They don't care.
No,
they don't care.
No, they're feathering their own nests, aren't they? They're looking after themselves.
Absolutely. I mean, global warming, I'm not going to explain what it's about. This fella knew exactly what global warming was.
You got people like this around you. Country's full of them now. People walking around all day long, every minute of the day, worried about everything. Worried about the air, worried about the water, worried about the soil. Worried about insecticides, pesticides, food additives, carcinogens. Worried about radon gas, worried about asbestos. Worried about saving endangered species. Let me tell you about endangered species, all right? Saving endangered species is just one more arrogant attempt by humans to control nature. It's arrogant meddling. It's what got us in trouble in the first place. Doesn't anybody understand that? Interfering with nature. Over 90%, way over 90% of all the species that have ever lived on this planet, are gone. They're extinct. We didn't kill them all. They just disappeared. That's what nature does. They disappear these days at the rate of 25 a day. And I mean regardless of our behavior. Irrespective of how we act on this planet, 25 species that were here today will be gone tomorrow. Let them go gracefully. Leave nature alone. Haven't we done enough? We're so self-important. So self-important. Everybody's going to save something now. Save the trees, save the bees, save the whales, save those snails. And the greatest arrogance of all, save the planet. What? Are these fucking people kidding me? Save the planet? We don't even know how to take care of ourselves yet. We haven't learned how to care for one another. We're going to save the fucking planet? I'm getting tired of that shit. Tired. I'm tired of fucking Earth Day. I'm tired of these self-righteous environmentalists, these white bourgeois liberals who think the only thing wrong with this country is there aren't enough bicycle paths. People trying to make the world safe for their Volvos. Besides, environmentalists don't give a shit about the planet. They don't care about the planet. Not in the abstract, they don't. Not in the abstract, they don't. You know what they're interested in? A clean place to live. Their own habitat. They're worried that someday in the future they might be personally inconvenienced. Narrow, unenlightened self-interest doesn't impress me. Besides, there is nothing wrong with the planet. Nothing wrong with the planet. The planet is fine. The people are fucked. Difference. The planet is fine. Compared to the people, the planet is doing great. It's been here 4.5 billion years. Did you ever think about the arithmetic? Planet has been here 4.5 billion years. We've been here, what, 100,000? Maybe 200,000? And we've only been engaged in heavy industry for a little over 200 years. 200 years versus 4.5 billion. And we have the conceit to think that somehow we're a threat? That somehow we're going to put in jeopardy this beautiful little blue-green ball that's just a-floating around the sun? The planet has been through a lot worse than us. Been through all kinds of things worse than us. Been through earthquakes, volcanoes, plate tectonics, continental drift, solar flares, sunspots, magnetic storms, the magnetic reversal of the poles, hundreds of thousands of years of bombardment by comets and asteroids and meteors, worldwide floods, tidal waves, worldwide fires, erosion, cosmic rays, recurring ice ages, and we think some plastic bags and some aluminum cans are going to make a difference? The planet isn't going anywhere. We are. We're going away. Pack your shit, folks. We're going away. And we won't leave much of a trace either. Thank God for that. Maybe a little styrofoam. Maybe. Little styrofoam. Planet will be here and we'll be long gone. Just another failed mutation. Just another closed-end biological mistake. An evolutionary cul-de-sac. The planet will shake us off like a bad case of fleas.
Doesn't have to be that way, though, does it? It doesn't have to be that way. That is the myth they're selling us, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
The word myth is mystery or truth. Which is going to be? Is it mystery? You know, what, are we going to allow that to happen? Well, that is what they're beating us with, isn't it?
Yeah.
They beat us with that we're worthless.
They tell us where the problem.
And the other major meme is, this is what they actually try and sell most of, isn't it? This.
The myth of overpopulation originated in England in 1798, when a vicar named Thomas Malthus, who fancied himself something of a mathematician, saw that food production increased incrementally, but people reproduced exponentially. He sat down and did some simple math, and summarily decided that the world would be out of food by 1890. He blamed reduced mortality rates and recommended killing off the have-nots of society, lest the haves starve to death. This cry was taken up by Paul Ehrlich of Stanford University in 1968, who claimed that reckless human reproduction had overwhelmed the Earth. Massive famines would result, which would destroy, best-case scenario, 1/5 of humanity by the end of the 70s. And the planet would follow. This fear produced large donations for the newly created UNFPA, which thrives on an imagined crisis that has been both imminent and rescheduled again and again over the past 2 centuries. The truth of the matter is that every family on this planet could have a house with a yard and all live together on a landmass the size of Texas, which is really just a small corner of the planet. The population of Earth will peak in 30 years and then start to go back down. We're not overpopulated. Do the math.
Okay, that is a little clip taken from pop.org. That's www.pop.org. Lots of good work there. I think a lot of you might have heard that before, but there it is again for those that haven't. And the major sort of message in there is that we can all have a house and a yard and live in the state of Texas. And the rest of the world will be empty.
Yeah.
Empty. We've managed to do a little bit on global warming.
We have.
Which has covered the power. Well, it doesn't really cover the electricity power cuts because the electric bills aren't going up just because of artificial scarcity.
No.
It is because of the inflation now. That's actually, the inflation is coming through.
Which linked to the first,
yeah,
the 0% rate.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, yeah, negative interest rates.
It's going to fuel inflation.
Well, of course it is, because if you're now being charged to put your money in the banks, you're going to take it out.
Yes.
So what are you going to do with it? Well, you've got 2 chances. You can either spend it into the housing market, or just the economy as general, or you can hand it over to the casino gulag.
Yeah.
All right, the stock market. And if we go to negative interest rates, and the market crashes in the future after the negative interest rates, you can't say that we didn't mention that might happen. You know, we can't run an economy on borrowing to pay debt.
No.
You can't pay debt with debt. You can for as long as the confidence trick continues. But the confidence trick is only working at the moment because everybody is invested in it.
Yeah.
But the people at the top run the casino so they can siphon off 10, 20% every market crash.
Yeah.
How many people are going to stop paying into the pensions when the next crash comes along? Well, it'll be, but you see, the government's already covered that corner.
They have,
because the new Ponzi scheme has started, hasn't it?
It has. We've mentioned it before.
So for the people who are employed and working for whoever, the majority now are working in the bigger companies and not only paying your original pension, but now you're paying, is it about 2% into the new Ponzi scheme?
Yeah.
And that's going to escalate over the years to 7%.
8, I think it is.
Is it 8 or whatever
7,
then?
Yeah.
So that'll be...
And then it'll be 10, won't it?
So then you're working 9 or 10% into one pension scheme, then maybe 8% into another pension scheme. Then there's your carbon tax to come along, and then VAT will be widespread onto bloody everything in the end.
Yeah.
I mean, everything. It doesn't matter what it is, it'll just be VAT. If you've got money, it's a luxury, so you'll be taxed on it.
Yeah.
How much are we going to be left with to survive? 10 pence in a pound? 5 pence in a pound?
They don't want us to survive, do they?
Was it about 73 pence in a pound now? It's been calculated that we're paying 73 pence back every pound.
Yeah.
On average.
Yep.
Well, once this new Ponzi scheme starts, that'll be 75%, then 76%, then 77%. Then the fuel duty escalator, and then the alcohol duty escalator. So there'll be sort of... it's never going to stop until they've got it all.
No, well, we're already heading there, aren't we? We've already said that they've got people working for the unemployment benefit. I know somebody who's been made to... He had to take compulsory redundancy at 55.
Yep.
And what is he earning out of his pension scheme that he paid in? He's earning £60 a week.
And that's been taken off any benefits that he would have been able to claim if he didn't have the pension.
Exactly. And all he's doing, his pension scheme has paid for his unemployment benefit.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. And when I explained it in those terms to him, no, it's my pension. It's not. I said, yeah, but you're not signed. They've got you to stop signing on. He's not even allowed to sign on.
Exactly.
He can't. I said,
because he's got his 60 odd quid a week.
Because he's getting his 60 quid a
which
week.
He would have got if he hadn't saved it.
But he'd have got that if he hadn't saved it anyway. If it hadn't taken off him. But
I've heard this story many times before.
Oh, God.
I've got a relation who's he's desperately struggling to find something that he can do. You know, he's 50 something. He's wrong end of 50 something. And well, for one reason or another, isn't it? You know, probably his age is a real factor here. But he's got a pension coming in of 170 odd quid a month. Well, that's just taken straight off his job seekers.
Yeah.
I think job seekers is about 65 or 70 quid a week, whatever it is.
Something like that.
But it's just subtracted off. You know, it's just, I mean, you know, is it right or is it wrong they should get job seekers? Well, it's not the fact that we're arguing that it's right or wrong.
No.
What we're showing is that those that have been prudent are still going to get it.
Still going to get hammered.
Yeah. We're not asking if it's right or wrong that these benefits should exist and whether who should get them.
No.
Forget that.
Yeah, that ain't the issue.
What we're showing is, even if you've saved it, they're having it.
They're having it.
They're having it in the way that you would have got it if you hadn't saved.
Yeah.
Does anyone understand what we're trying to show here? That eventually the redistribution of wealth will be complete and everybody will be poor. That is the idea. But it takes a little while to get people there. That's why if you've got, is it 7,000 or 8,000 quid saved up, they say no benefits for you.
No benefits.
You've got to get down to zero, or virtually zero. And then we just give you enough until you are down to zero, and then we allow you to apply for more benefits.
Yeah.
This is the idea. It's not to bring everybody up.
No,
it's to pull everybody bloody down. 2 stories done.
Yeah.
Pick another one. 10 o'clock, 1 hour done, 2 stories. That's not bad. That's not bad. Pick anything. It doesn't matter what's in.
Where to go
it doesn't matter. The horror stories are absolutely everywhere.
Just one thing before we move on. That advert that they're doing on the TV about this new pension scheme, and at the very end of it, it says, "We're all in." Well, when you're playing poker and you're putting them all in, that's your last chance saloon, isn't it? When you're all in, when you've no money left, and you're putting all your money all in, that's your last chance saloon. You're going to win something, or you're going home with nothing.
No, you're going to lose it.
But
everyone's going to. If they did it all in one go, we'd figure it out.
Yeah.
Right, so they do it nice and slow.
So if you get a chance, just have a look at that advert and then look at it in a different perspective. We're all in.
Absolutely.
We're all in.
Well, we are all in. We're all in the Navy. We're all in the Navy. We've all been thrown overboard, and now we're all fighting in this net. And if we don't stop fighting and start swimming together, which we won't. I've looked at Fight Book too many times. I've seen everything that's going on the internet, and I think this is just a farce. It's a playground of fighting.
Playground of fighting, yeah.
It's a hierarchical fight.
Yeah.
Right, about people who just want to fight. They don't want to do anything. All right, I mean, there are plenty of good people out there say, we would like to do something. Well, we're in the middle of North Yorkshire, right? Now, you can listen to this broadcast on YouTube. You can go to our Facebook pages. You can contact us through that. You can contact us through the YouTube channel. All right, I'm quite happy to give you my private email address, which will be on my Facebook page. Right, if you want to actually make a difference, if you want to actually do something, and you're somewhere close by in North Yorkshire, you message me.
Or calling on Skype. We're on Skype.
Well, yeah, I can't. I even put my Skype up on. But they don't, you see, they don't. People are cowards. Right? And I mean it. Everybody is a bloody coward.
Yeah.
To find a warrior within takes a bit of bloody doing. And if you think spending time on this wonderful time-stealing machine is going to make a difference, you're not ready yet, are you? They're not ready. They're not. Because only when you throw this box of tricks out will you actually see the world for what it is. While you're looking into the hall of mirrors, you're never going to get it. Never going to get it. Pick another one.
Well, just on the internet, YouTube on about, well, this internet thing, having to pay for the internet, it's raising its ugly head again on, we're going to have to start paying for YouTube.
Well, what's the headline actually? Because that's not quite what it says.
Well,
it says there's been an app discovered in the YouTube.
I'll read it.
Just a
I'll
bit
read
more.
it.
A bit more. You see, it doesn't quite say that.
I know, but we've had the scares before, haven't we? We've had the scares before.
Right, go on.
Is YouTube about to introduce pay TV? Apps Hidden Code reveals new subscription plan for video channels.
Keep going, I'm drinking.
So, Find backs up speculation that YouTube plans paid for channels by spring. Move would bring it into competition with satellite and cable services. Google-owned firm has solicited bids from several production companies. Channels expected to cost between $1 or 60p and $5 or £3 per month.
Well, of course they're going to go subscription service.
Yeah.
Of course they are. As Internet 2.0 now rolls up, I've now got a new green box outside my shop. Right, a new green telecom box has been built.
All right.
I've seen inside it, and it's full of stuff. I don't exactly know what, but it's full of stuff. And the guys who put it in, I says, what's it going to be? It's for the fibre optic internet. So I said, marvellous. So when's it going to go live? They said, within 18 months. That's all they said. That's all I know.
Right.
So the fibre optic and the internet is now just over the road from me. I don't think I can go connect it myself just yet. But once Internet 2.0 comes, Internet 2.0 is going to have all the wonderful stuff on it, and the old internet that we're on now, well, that'll just be left to fall to pieces, actually.
It's amazing how these things appear, don't they? Nobody actually notices what's happening, but it's all going on under...
But the think tanks know.
The think tanks.
The think tanks, you see? Tanks. See, tanks look like a bit like a Dalek, don't they? But it just looks like a syringe. Anyway, but the think tanks know what they're doing. So Internet 2.0, which will be super duper fast, which will have everything that you need and lots more that you didn't know was coming on it, for 60p a month, you're going to be in. You're going to be in. That old-fashioned TV thing in the corner, you can sit now see why they're selling so bloody many of them so fast, can't you?
Yeah.
Because they're going to be pretty much obsolete in the very near future. I mean, are we going to be using our phones to watch everything? No, we're not, are we? No, we're not.
I don't think so. No, we're not at that stage yet.
No, I think we're always going to be watching big screens, aren't we?
Yeah.
And our phone will be the little screen.
Yeah.
It'd be like Big Brother and Little Brother.
Well, yeah, exactly, because we know that the TVs have come in now where it's got facial recognition on, hasn't it?
Yeah.
You can...
Yeah, but you're going to need one screen, that's all, not two.
No, you're not going to need two.
At the moment, we've got a laptop, a mobile phone, and a television.
Yeah.
One of those is going to lose, isn't it? The laptops are going to lose, and it's going to be the mobile phone and the television.
And the TV, together, isn't it? I think so.
But it won't be called television, it will be called something else, won't it? I don't know what they're going to call it. Should might as well be called a monitor because he's watching you.
Yeah, monitors, yeah.
And you have monitors at playground, don't you?
You do, yeah.
Playground monitors, lunchtime monitors. That'll teach you. Come on then. So we think YouTube are slowly but surely revealing, like we all know, Apple TV, Google TV, YouTube television. It's all going down the paper script. I mean, people must have sort of wondered why are the newspapers all free online. It's just to get you used to it.
Get you used to it, yeah.
They're not going to be.
It's not going to be, no.
They're not going to be. When they go subscription only, you won't be able to copy and paste their stories.
Yeah.
Right, you won't be able to.
No.
They've been practicing with the Times, haven't they? The Times is subscription only, and I don't think you can copy and paste their articles. And if you do copy and paste their article to a non-subscriber, they can't see it.
No.
So they've been practicing with the Times newspaper, and all the newspapers will go this way in the end. And you'll have to subscribe to them. And I'm sure they'll be cheap. I'm sure there'll be something like 50p a month or something like that, or even less. The subscription will be less than probably the price of one newspaper.
Yeah.
But you won't be able to copy and paste it.
Oh, no.
You'll be able to read it.
Yes.
But I don't think you'll be able to share it with somebody else.
No, you won't be able to share it because that'll be copyright.
This is censorship. This is how the censorship's going to work in the long run, isn't it?
Yeah.
At the moment, we're being allowed to do all this for free. It's not going to stay that way.
No, don't believe it's going to do.
All the news hounds and everything that think, this isn't the way it's going to stay. No. The newspapers are going to stop you sharing. You'll only be able to share with like-minded subscribers. That should knack up the job badly, shouldn't
it?
Yeah. My advice to everybody is to download as much as possible now.
Yes,
download as much as bloody possible right now, because once we're on pay TV online, you'll just be watching the regular news channels, and probably Alex Jones.
Yeah.
And as for the newspapers, well, we've already gone through that one.
Yeah.
So download as much as possible right now, because the old internet will still be here. How much we'll be able to broadcast once the copyright notice is really starting to squeeze,
well,
who
there
knows?
we go.
Who knows? we'll be able to sit and talk like this, but we'll have to be very careful because if we quote articles, we'll be...
Well, we're going to have solicitors breathing down our necks, aren't we?
Yeah, prostitutes.
Yeah, Lord...
the words prostitutes...
Lord McAlpine saw to that, didn't he?
Yeah, but that's what I mean, is we'll be able to talk chit-chat.
Yeah.
If we ever quote something...
Oh,
you know,
you're going to have to be able to back it up.
Yeah. This is where it gets very tricky, so make the most of it now, boys and girls.
And we know these lawyers that are sat around not doing very much at the moment because there's house sales aren't going on, are there? So they're going to have to find lawyers to do other jobs, and what they're going to do. I noticed that where there's a claim lawyers are absolutely covering the TV.
They've been doing that for years.
I know, but it's one after the other now.
And plus gambling sites.
That and gambling sites, but you're going to have to watch what you do every minute of the day, because if somebody trips over your screwdriver,
I'm offended. You've offended me. I'm going to report you and sue you for offending me.
Well, we're not going to be able to mop floors anymore. If somebody can you see where this is going? That we're going to be so frightened to mop a floor.
We're going to have padded floors where we take our shoes off. We're going to have padded walls.
Take shoes and socks off.
Seatbelts on toilets. Cameras in every room to make sure we don't hurt ourselves. I know it's going. I know it sounds ridiculous. Maybe 40, 50, 60 years down the line, but that is where we are going.
Yeah.
Pick another news story.
Okay.
That's 3. We've done 3. 3. We'll go for a 4th and we'll finish in about 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, because
the YouTube shows are proving to be a bit too long for everyone to
listen to. The attention span's not there.
We get carried away and we don't load enough information in because we chatter too much. Well, I chatter too much, so I won't blame you here, okay? I'll blame myself. Right, come on, pick another news story, anyone will do. The
drug that's harmed more children than thalidomide.
Go on, and you read it, go on, 'cause I'm not going to take a stab at guessing this one. You read the details, please.
A mother called Karen Buck has got a 14-year-old daughter called Bridget, and apparently she was born with a few problems. Spina bifida been the biggest one. But she was having epileptic fits as well. But this little girl, she's only 14, she's never spoken a word. It really is horrible, really. And yes, we do know that people are ill and do get ill, and babies are born with defects and things like that. But I've got a family gathering on Saturday, and I've got some questions for my mother and my stepdad about their families, and did we really have all these afflictions that we've got now, all these allergies and things like that?
No, we died of old age.
Died
of old age.
But anyway, I'm going to do that, and I'll do that on another show. I'll tell you what the answers are next on another show. But anyway, this poor girl, in March 1998, Karen, a daughter, took a drug called Epilim to combat her epileptic fits during the pregnancy. And since then, her daughter has needed 24-hour care every day since. So the mum took the epileptic drug.
What's the stats? Have we got the stats printed out? Or have we just printed out the front page?
No, you've just printed out the front page there. But the epileptic drug caused the defects to her daughter. And she's not going to live very long. She's only 14 now, and her mum's amazed that she's lived to 14 years old.
Well, all we can do is just print out some... I mean, we should really be giving out stats, actually, and I apologise for not having those. We should be giving out stats so people can actually repeat these stats, and we should be posting below the YouTube video the evidence of those stats and where we got them from. So that's my apologies to everybody listening. I will actually write that. That problem will be righted, and hopefully I'll get some stats below this very YouTube video that you can actually take away, print out, and show to those that may well try and be interested, as it were.
Yeah, but the reason I brought that up was because we were talking before we came online, and we were talking about the newspapers and why are they allowed to print this sort of stuff. And you've got to ask yourself that question. Why are they? There are stats out there, and we've said earlier that some of these stats can be jiggled, shall we say?
Yeah,
jiggled around, and you can look into David Kelly, can't you? As well, we know what happened to him,
right?
But if you don't count out to to the government line, what they do is they sack that particular person and they say, oh no, your information wasn't relevant. It was no good. It wasn't done to our procedures.
But
and then they bring somebody else in, don't they?
David Kelly didn't give them what they wanted.
Exactly.
He told them that there wasn't weapons.
He told them there wasn't weapons.
Right, he told them that they couldn't get them here in 20 minutes.
He told the truth.
Yeah, you see.
Yeah,
that's what
as
happened.
far as we're aware, he told the truth.
Well, it would appear that...
It would appear that he was right.
He was right, yeah.
Because there weren't any.
I mean, a lot of people don't trust the mainstream media, and we're right to do so.
Yeah.
We're absolutely right not to trust it. But it does print hundreds and thousands of stories a day.
It does.
And we are all guilty of cherry-picking the ones that actually suit our view,
exactly.
our picture. It suits the reality that we have decided is reality. So we cherry-pick out of this and automatically exclude ones that actually go against what we want to broadcast.
Yeah.
Everybody's guilty.
They are.
I'm guilty. I just go through the Daily Mail and print out anything that sounds interesting. But am I subconsciously just printing out the stories that support the agenda that I think is going on?
Well,
of course I am.
Of course, yeah.
But if I could find a story that confirmed the agenda wasn't going on...
Oh, yeah, lovely.
I'd love to actually broadcast that.
Bring that on, yeah.
I'd love to broadcast that. I'd love to say, here's a bloody good person who's exposing the bad people. Well, I can't. All I can find is little stories like that lovely family one there. This lady says, my daughter was given this drug, and this is what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, there is, I think all over Facebook, around about not last week, the week before, earlier the week before, I think the name was Anne Bressington.
Anne.
The Australian politician.
Yes.
Who was talking about...
Thank you to Santos for that.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody hasn't heard her, I can't believe that anybody in the Rebels Without Cause with too many causes, but I'll put the link below. I'm not going to play it. I actually have it to play, but I'm not going to play it. I'll put the link below the YouTube video, and this is an Australian politician telling us how it is.
Yes.
Okay, and please, if you haven't seen it, watch it, share it, download it, and play it too. And, I mean, we should be having house parties where we're playing stuff that we've got.
We should.
We should be, I mean, who's going to... There's 5 of us in our club now.
There is
5.
We've been going about 5-6 years, have we?
5 years it's taken to get to bloody 5. What? I mean, I'm disappointed in myself.
I'm disappointed in myself.
That's who I'm disappointed with.
I want somebody to come along, and we've said this before, I want somebody to come along to me and say, well done, we had you there, didn't we? Want an Ant and Dec moment, a Jeremy Beadle moment. Where we say, I'm waiting for that to happen. So
the entire
we had you going there.
For it. Yeah, I mean, all through history, adversity has always been the way to make men. It always has. It's only in times of adversity that the men stand forward, and you know, will fight the battle. But this is a false adversity, if you see what I mean. It's a soft one. It's where we can still sit in our houses with the electric and the gas, and we still get given enough in benefits, which is just Robin Hood thievery, that we can't be bothered, really. We can't be bloody bothered. We'd like to be bothered, but we'd rather just spend the day on the internet, finding out some more stuff that we can go embarrass our friends with that they don't know what's going on. It's nuts. How much longer do we have to examine the cage, the cell that we're building for ourselves?
I've said to you on a number of occasions, I'm not going to have long left. Not in my life. I don't mean it that way. I mean in the financial mess that's unfolded. And I was a product of the 80s, as you were, and sold a dream. I always think of Martin Luther King when I had a dream.
I was made in the 60s, by the way. But
I was a 60s
but we
child
actually,
as well.
The 80s was our time, wasn't it?
The 80s was our time. It was Del Boy with his file of facts. And I did use that line on my current wife, my wife at the moment.
Like you have a few. You're on year 26, aren't you?
We're on 26.
You were, yeah.
But I spun her that line. This time next year, we'll be a millionaire. I'll be a millionaire. I'll be a millionaire. And that dream hasn't unfolded, unfortunately. And to some extent, I'm glad because I've worked for millionaires, and they're horrible people. Horrible, horrible, horrible.
Yeah, but did they have everything they need and nothing they want?
Oh, God, they don't even make you a cup of tea.
Everything they want, nothing they need. Everything they want, nothing they need.
God.
That's the right way around, yeah.
Anyway, but no, it's...
How much more stuff do you have to buy to be happy?
My Armageddon is coming, and I'm looking... We've discussed this, haven't we? And I'm looking forward to it coming, because that is a realisation that this House of Cards, this rubbish that they've sold us, and I bought it hook, line and sinker. I've only got myself to blame, but with the help of other people like David Icke, Santos, Alex Jones, and all these kind of people, and Dean Clifford, watched a bit of Dean Clifford and all these kind of people, it's helped me unravel the net, a little bit of the net. And like you said, I came in at the front. I came in when it was open, and that it closes, doesn't it?
Well, people don't want to get out of it. Every day, the minute they get up, they're back in it.
Yes.
Right, they're loving it in here.
Yeah.
They're loving it
and I must admit, I was. That's to be fair to it, that's where I got most of my information from. That's where I went down the rabbit hole, and there was so many rebels with so many causes, I didn't know which one to join. And we've disappeared up to Aberdeen and down to... all across to Manchester, down into Leeds, over the place.
We went to support the jailed him. What was it? Robert Greene.
Robert Greene. Good old Robert Greene.
After seeing him in Manchester, didn't we?
Yeah.
We went to support. We thought he was a proper gentleman who got jailed in Aberdeen.
He was. He is.
And I think he is.
From what I've seen of him.
There is so much horrible stuff on the net saying he isn't.
A genuine guy.
Well, do you know what?
I've met him face to face. We've met him face to face.
I'm going to say that I think most of the bad stuff that's been said about Robert Greene and Roger and Brian, I don't believe it.
No, I don't believe it.
But you know why I don't believe it? Because I don't want to believe it.
Well,
I don't want it to be true, and everything tells me, my whole instinct, which is getting a lot better now.
Yeah.
It's a lot better now. It tells me it can't be. No,
your sixth sense, your common sense.
Yeah. I realise that the people who actually want to diss these people, they like fighting. They quite like it, actually. You see, because we can now say... It doesn't really matter to us now, does it?
No.
About Brian, about Roger, and about Robert.
No, don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to us now. Because if they turn out to be, something that we were hoping they weren't, it still doesn't matter to our lives.
No,
because we're not invested in them as our leaders.
No.
They're not our leaders.
No, I'm not looking for a leader anymore.
No, that's right, because only dogs need leaders.
And I'm not looking for followers.
Exactly.
Don't want people to follow me.
We don't want anything like that.
I don't want a donation.
Exactly.
I want to be me.
Was that the bad guys chasing the good guys, or the good guys chasing the bad guys?
Well,
but that was fun. That was a fun film, wasn't it? Iconic films. Now then, an update from last week's. One of the points we mentioned last week was the guy we were following who was refusing to pay his TV licence. So let's see. He was in court this week on Monday. Last week. Friday, I think it was.
Yes, Mr. Tony Rook.
You know, is it, anyway, go on. I'm getting fuddled up here.
TV licence evader refused to pay because the BBC covered up facts about 9/11 and claimed Tower fell 20 minutes before it did, and he was refusing to pay his TV licence under Section 15 of the Terrorism Act. But he did actually go to court, it says in here, and they didn't listen to a word he said. And the judge, it says here, judge made Rook pay £200 costs and gave him a conditional discharge.
And the conditional discharge was that he bought a TV licence.
That he bought a TV licence, yeah. You comply, you...
But doesn't this show us, right? Doesn't this show us? It shows us twofold, doesn't it? Either one, the majority of the population, even above us, are fast asleep. But that's not true, though, is it? You see, we can pretend that these judges and that don't know.
No, well, they're in on it.
Well, we can pretend, but we're just pretending, okay?
Yeah,
we live in a world of dreams and lies. The very same thing. It depends whether you're telling the truth to yourself or not. Because dreams are lies and lies are dreams. They know.
They do.
Okay, they know. I think around about 30% of the population, maybe a little more, know, to some extent, what the agenda is.
Yes.
Now, they are all boxed up, so they only know what they need to know. It is a military-type operation that's going on here, because we are all in the Navy. It is a maritime control system, and if you think this isn't martial law, well, You decide for yourself. It doesn't matter to me, really, on that score at all. People know what they need to know.
Yeah.
And they always do what's in their best interests.
Yes.
And the most corrupt are the ones that are the most eager for promotion and control and power. Regular nice people just want to go along to get along and take whatever it is they need home to the family.
Yes.
But that's not what some people want, is it?
No.
We've been breeding a nation of psychopaths for quite some time because we have an ever-diminishing money supply that we breed a whole generation of people who can't do anything. But they know they can't do anything.
No, they think they're doing something when they're in a meeting.
Exactly.
They make themselves lives busy by going to meetings.
Because they have an education confirmed by a bit of paper that tells them that they know more than we do.
We know more than you do.
Now here we are making everything, doing everything, paying all the bills, including their bloody wages and the taxes.
Yeah.
We're doing everything, but somehow they elevate themselves, these people who can do nothing, they elevate themselves to our controllers.
They do.
And they do control us.
They do, and they prove it because they usually wear a uniform, don't they? Some fancy dress to go with it.
And with some fancy words.
Yes.
That says, I am your boss.
Yep.
I make the rules, you pay my wages. You call... and
mottos in Latin.
Whatever. But it's such an upside-down world.
Yeah.
But I don't seem to be able to explain it properly to people in a way that gets them... instinctively saying, you're right, it's wrong, isn't it? It's wrong. These people are actually doing nothing except making as many rules as possible so they can control our lives, to make as many rules as possible, to take everything away from us.
Yeah.
These people actually want to take everything we have away from us. But then you move up a level and you get to a rather darker reality, don't you? You get to the Mr. Savile reality.
Oh, yes.
And there's a few interesting pointers coming out now. Why was the Savile thing allowed to be released, leaked, whatever? We said, didn't we?
Why now?
Why now? Why now? Starting to come across a little bit. There is a little bit of information which I can only say that I think fits in with what I can understand. There's an element of blackmail going on here. There's some blackmail going on here at the highest possible levels. And I think the control system is jostling for control at the top. Now, I'm not even halfway through David Rothkopf, his book Superclass. And it is currently painting a picture that the Superclass are philanthropic and not all bad people. But I'm getting the impression that the book is going to change as I keep reading it. I'm halfway through, and it confirms in there that the elites, as we call them, there is only really about 6,000 in the top tier. And of those 6,000, there is a number considerably less that are almost permanent fixtures. They almost have, the irreplaceable, unmovable, they can't be overtaken, as it were. But I think it's jostling for position. I think that it's just like a horse race, like any other race there is. The winner's not nailed on. It's not that we're going to notice any change, but I think that the royal family of this country, I think the Vatican, I think they're all under pressure to relinquish a little bit of power because they've been challenged by the younger more, the younger benefits, as it were, the younger elites, the corporations are now have got so much strength.
Yeah.
That I think they're muscling in onto the upper tiers of control.
Tears.
Yeah, tears is bloody tears, isn't it? but that doesn't matter to us. Sometimes we can get so confused that we can change that level. We can't
change that level. No, we don't
The one thing Superclass is confirming to me is that we are the bottom of a very big heap.
Yes.
Right, and it doesn't matter how many smiley faces we put on our messages. How many kisses? How many PMSLs or LOLs? It doesn't matter how childlike our messages and love hearts and...
Oh, God, no.
It's not
just
going to do it, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to do it.
It isn't.
Right, I'm waiting for Swalk and Holland, Hope our love lasts and never dies. Right, I'm waiting for all that to come along, because it's not far off now, is it? Because we really are reverting back to childlike.
It is, yeah.
Emblems and smiley faces and flowers.
K-A-I-S-S-I-N-G. Oh, God.
But it's becoming a little embarrassing.
It is a bit embarrassing.
And this is a lot of the people within the truth movement, and it's the truth's moving around. That's why they can never catch it. You see, the reason why we can't unite is fairly simple. Because we don't have the truth. The truth has been moved around.
Exactly.
The truth is a movable object that we just can't quite grasp.
It's now, behind a veil, isn't it?
The reason why the Cambridge and Oxford teams can roar together is because they've got it.
Yeah.
They've got it. They know what the plan is.
They do.
And we're having trouble keeping hold of the plan. Because someone says, well, it's this. Well, it's that. Well, it could be this. Well, it could be that. When the truth is, they want everything we've got, and they want our consent to be compliant, non-thinking slaves. And I don't want that. And I don't want that for my little girl. What future do I want?
No.
Well, let's try and put the brakes on the one we're on at the moment. Right? Instead of sitting down, pretending that we can dream up another future, which is exactly what we can do, because the only time it will be true is when we're bloody asleep. So never mind sitting down, pretending we can create. Let's put the brakes on the one we've got first. Let's show what strength we have. Because if we don't, if we still think that doing nothing is doing something, why do we do it, Brian? You usually tell me. Thank you, Brian.
Okay, well, thanks for that. It's a pretty easy question to answer, really. If I go back, I did 21 years in the military. I now know that some of the things I believed in then, I was misguided, but I originally joined the military because I believed that I had a country and it was worth fighting for, and I did believe at the time that I was helping to defend my country. And then when I left the service and I started to discover what was really going on, the fraud and the corruption in Plymouth, and I tried to do something about it, and the next thing I got people threatening me and sending me death threats and all sorts of crap. I sat down with a couple of guys and we actually had a discussion about it, and we said, what are we going to do? Are we going to do something, or are we going to do nothing? And I can tell you that there was 8 guys around the table, and we said, we're going to do something. And from that day onwards I started to do something. I didn't really expect it to go in quite the direction it has, but I will tell you that everything that I have learned tells me if we don't fight, not only will there be nothing left in this country, but if you've got children and grandchildren, they are going to be wiped off the face of the earth. The people we're up against are of exactly the same mentality that got going in Stalinist Russia and in Nazi Germany, and they are going to murder our children, certainly if they achieve the regime they want. And you've got the choice. You can do nothing. You might survive depending on your age, but they're going to have your children. And I decided, and I stick to my guns, I am going to fight, because otherwise my children have absolutely no future. And this is something else which, you know, in the beginning I did a couple of talks, and somebody in the audience sort of said to me, you know, what do these people want? And I said, what they want is to kill you. And you could hear a few people in the audience sucking their teeth. And somebody said to me afterwards, oh, I think you were a bit over the top there, you know, Brian, I don't think you should have really said that. To which I said, well, what were the people saying as they were being led off to the concentration camps? These people are taking people to war, they're engineering wars. We've got British politicians, Miliband, involved in the taking and torturing of people. If we do nothing, we might survive by living in a hole in the ground, our children, they are going to dispatch them. And that's why I'm fighting. When you get in that sort of mentality and you see this thing for what it is, you know, do I fear for my safety? No, I don't, because I've just decided that basically, you know, not fighting is not an option. Do I try and fight clever? Absolutely, because you can go and do things which are bloody stupid, and you're going to find that you're going to be cornered. But, you know, people who are still sending round email circuits as though they can sit in their armchair and have a little whinge, the people in government are working at the moment on how to murder us. When you know, I'm sorry, this sounds a little bit big-headed, but when you know what I know about what they're really doing to the children, you know, you just say we've got to do something to stop this. I've had relations dying in very mysterious circumstances in hospitals where the hospital staff have then lied and covered up, and I've had tens of people calling me from other parts of the country telling me the same story. We're getting 5, 6, 7, 8 calls a week from mums off their heads because their children have been taken, and those children are being abused or psychologically tortured. It's an absolute cesspit, and we have got to do something about it. But it's no good people running around with bloody baseball bats. We've got to really start going for the few people in the positions of power who are dealing with this. But no, I absolutely don't wake up wondering why I do it. I know why I'm doing it. The times I get frustrated is when I think to myself, we haven't got all the assets or all the people to do what we need to do. If all of the activists out there, whatever parties they've been involved or organisations, if everybody would do something effective,
exactly,
we would be really starting to get to grips with this thing.
If everybody would just do something.
There is no other option. That's all I can say, really.
Yep, that's how we feel, isn't it, Manny? If
is.
everybody would just do something.
Yeah.
All right, and doing something is not doing it on here. This internet is not the place to do something.
No.
Okay, it's the place to take what you need off it, turn it into something real,
create
like
something
a
with
DVD
it.
or a newsletter or a newspaper. Create it into something real that people can give to each other. That's what...
Stop reacting, start creating.
Yeah, exactly. Take it, turn it into reality and give it out to people. Well, I share it on their Facebook. No, that's not the same. You've not given them something. You've just given them a copy of something. Whereas if you make it and give them it, it's real.
Yeah.
It's like from you.
Yeah.
Anyway, the end of our show, Tuesday, the 26th of February 2013. Thanks for your company. Thank you for listening if you stayed with us right till the end. Till next week. Good night, everybody.
Good night.